Not being able to stay still inside when emotionally challenged is the biggest problem my clients, myself, and most empathic women are experiencing on their self empowerment journey. Because what they really want is inner peace, right? Calm, harmony. They want to be connected to themselves and feel a loving, harmonious relationship with their loved ones. I want to show you in this video that there is really only one insight you need to remember, know, and apply when you are in a emotional, challenging situation, so that you can turn this inner struggle back into inner peace. Let's look at two scenarios. There is the ego self and there is the higher self, right? So you always have the connection to both. Usually, the ego self is the one that's running the show. Now, in that scenario, when you are really tired again, maybe you are exhausted, you're running a full time job, you've got children in the schools, and you're running the household, and every night you come home, you are just so exhausted that you just want to fall into bed. But there is still a lot of stuff to be done. So that's the cycle you're experiencing again and again and again. And of course, you're feeling absolutely drained. This is all far too much. And what you really want to do is go on a holiday and never come back, or hide somewhere until the situation is better. Does it sound familiar? Let me know what is your biggest challenge emotionally that keeps on coming up. So now let's look at the same scenario that you can turn around when you know this one insight. First of all, I want to highlight again that in the first scenario, you are identified with the tiredness, the exhaustion, the feeling of far too much. There's like a mountain in front of you all the time and it never goes down. And your body is showing you, you just want to shut down, right? Because the body really needs to rest and it keeps showing you that. And you can't listen to it. You think you can't listen to it. And therefore, you feel like there is no gain. You can never win this situation. And you are using your energy to fight against the outer scenarios, the amount of work you have to do. You might shout at your husband and tell him he needs to do something as well, or somebody needs to help with the children. Maybe you need somebody who's looking after them for some time. You feel there's no support, and so you're looking on the outside all the time. You're disliking it how it is. You're actually fighting what is. It's not okay as it is. And that is actually a huge contributor to your feeling so stressed, drained, and exhausted. This is the insight that you need to remember and know and to become aware of what you're doing, fighting with life itself. So instead of being like life, so life, I'm using that word instead of God, there is always a higher self. There is always the one that is connected to all life, that is in harmony, love, and peace with all that is. And when you're struggling with life and you're fighting against it, you are totally outside that true self that you are, because the true self would never struggle and fight against anything. It would allow, understand, accept, and embrace what is. And so how come that you, version number one, who is drained and exhausted, can't do that? Because you're so busy fighting. That really is the one reason. So you are making everything wrong. It should be different. That person shouldn't be like that. He should do like that. They shouldn't do that. That's too much. Stop being so loud. So you're dictating the environment what to do, right? And we all do that. That's the ego mind that wants to control the situation, somehow change it, but it always only looks on the outside. It doesn't know anything about the inner self, the higher self, the true self that you are, because it's living as a separate being. And now, by remembering and by realizing that you're fighting, and that fighting is going to make everything a lot worse than it already is, and hence it feels like impossible to manage. So when you are now becoming aware of what you're doing, because you feel so drained, you feel so tired, you don't feel in flow or at ease, and that's the giveaway. So you got to look at and feel and stop. How am I feeling? Where is this feeling coming from? How come I feel like this? You've got to always ask yourself that. And it's really a matter of dealing with it inside. This is always what needs to happen. The outside will change when you change on the inside. It's always a mirror. The outside reality we are experiencing is always a mirror. So now imagine you are remembering who you truly are, and you are remembering to respond to whatever is from love, peace, understanding, compassion, insight, and knowing. And you are using your love, your truth, and your presence to deal with this. Then the situation looks completely different. When you are at work, you are working full time, and it's a very demanding job, but you do enjoy what you're doing. You've chosen that because you're good at it. And so instead of fighting with anything there, this is the first step, because that's where you spend your most hours, right? So you are always saying, oh yeah, I can handle that. And you are choosing to handle it always from your heart. Handle the situation from your center, from your heart. And there it is always calm and still. And you're seeing like all this work that needs to be done. And you're not thinking anything about that, like it's too much or you can't handle it. And you're just doing it step by step from a calm place without thinking anything on top of that. And when your children are, driving you crazy because they're running around, they're very loud, they're not listening to you, they're just almost in their own bubble, they are mirroring something to you, because they are not listening to you because you are not listening to yourself. So when you start listening to yourself, and that means your feelings, what your body is telling you, and going deeper with the emotions. The emotions are also knocking on your door. There is maybe unresolved triggers that you haven't looked at. So when you're listening to yourself, people around you will also listen to yourself. When you're loving yourself first by being present with yourself, by loving what is occurring, and by understanding and embracing and dealing with what is occurring, other people will mirror that. So you see how different the outcome will be when you are remembering your true self. You always have two versions. So it's up to you to choose whether you want to act from your ego identity or whether you want to remember your true higher self that lives in your heart. Let me know what you choose. And also, I want to give you a little help by offering you my heart alignment meditation. Because when you are practicing every day, best twice, but once is a good start. It's 15 minutes for you. You turn on the video, the audio that I will give you when you sign up for it, and you can download it, and you have it with you all the time. So whenever you have 15 minutes, use it to go inside. Don't use it to eat something, drink something, or try to distract yourself. Instead, go inside and nourish your heart, nourish your innate love, nourish the connection with your true self, because that makes all the difference. And you're showing life that you actually want to be one with life instead of fighting it. Because when you return to your heart, you are one with life, or the infinite light, God, or the higher self, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to leave the link for my heart alignment meditation in the description. And I want to encourage you to remember the one insight again when you're feeling like struggling, or you're stuck and the challenge you have is too much on your plate. Remember who you truly are. Stop fighting. Don't react anymore. No more reacting to the outside world. Instead, go inside and respond to what you're feeling there. So you are your own master. You are mastering whatever is inside. Nobody else around you can help you with that, really. It's up to you to empower yourself in these situations. And here's the bonus point. Life is always giving you exactly what you need in order to come home a step further. So there is maybe an anger that you haven't looked at, and therefore you keep having the same situation. So life will bring you a scenario that triggers that anger, so you can look at it, so you can see it and feel it. Life is always on your side. Everything is always as it should be, and all is well, if you choose to look at it like that. And if you want to learn a bit more about truly loving yourself, I'm going to leave a video here for you to look at that as well, because it's most important to know how to love yourself. Until next time, lots of love, and remember, love no matter what.